Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to show you how to fulfill your entire field research for the firewall specialization from stage 1 through stage 5. Now I'm not going to go through every single thing. What I intend to do is actually give you tips and tricks that I used to complete the more tricky requirements. But first of all, before we actually go into this, I want to first say that for your hive skill, you're going to need to have the stinger unlocked. Now many people may not have all of their hive mods unlocked, so go ahead and make sure that you have this unlocked, because this is going to be very helpful in order to help you complete a lot of it. You can also get your seeker mine, which is just the explosive seeker mine that applies bleed, but this seeker mine may not be sufficient in terms of getting some of these requirements done without having to wait for cooldowns or whatever. I would also recommend that having a skill build that's in place that supports these mods will be quite useful and come in handy for you, because I wish I did have a skill build on this character. I would have had a better time running this. Okay, now that that's been said, let's start at stage 1 and we'll work our way down. Another thing too that you have to know is, and a lot of people are probably going to be looking to do this in order to get their Savage Wolverine blueprint. This is the named honey badger. That's actually slightly better than the regular honey badger itself because of two things, which I will mention in a separate video, but it's worth getting. That's the gist for now. So first part, you're doing very simple objectives, but the second objective asks for you to kill enemy scorchers. These enemy scorchers are pretty much flamethrowers that are in different missions, so you can get them in almost every outcast mission. They'll spawn randomly depending on where you are. You can also get them as named enemy scorchers. If you know named enemy scorchers, you can also get them from bounties. There are different factions in the bounties that do have the scorchers that are part of them. So say for instance you go into the bounties, you go to maybe an outcast bounty, you see some scorchers as part of them. That's not an outcast bounty, here we go. You see some scorchers as part of them. This is a scorcher right here, the ruin. She's a scorcher, so you can go in there and make sure you take her out. And then there's also your cleaners. Many of you may have forgotten that you have cleaners in this game, you Division 1 agents. If you go to Coney Island, there are some cleaners there in one of the missions as well. So if you want to do that, I think they will count as scorchers. I did not use them to fulfill the requirements, but if they're saying take out scorchers, then that's definitely what those are. They're flamethrower NPCs, and they're different kinds. Then if you go to stage 2, we're moving on to stage 2 immediately, you get the ammo dump blueprint, which is a holster. I don't even know what it does, but whatever. Now the first objective says to defeat the wildfire in Roosevelt Island after destroying her fuel tank on normal or higher difficulty. So you make your way to Roosevelt Island, and then once you play the mission, about halfway through you're going to meet this enemy NPC. You destroy her tank and then you take her out. Beware though that this is the NPC that will most likely save your life, so take note of her and where she is. Also make sure that you destroy that tank first, because you might not really gauge your damage well, because you're playing this probably on normal so that you can get it done. So gauge your damage very well if you want to destroy the tank, and it doesn't matter if the tank destroys before it takes her out or it destroys while it takes her out. I think it will all count as the same. Now the second one is name and shame, which says neutralize named enemies while they're afflicted by a status effect. You can use all kinds of fun status effect stuff to actually get this achieved. You can use your turret, your flame turret that would apply the burn status effect. You can use an incendiary grenade if you're using survivalist. You can also use your stinger, which is what I've asked you to actually do, because that's actually pretty good. If they're hiding in cover, maybe if they're an NPC that uses a shield, the stinger can work for them. Please note though that I noticed that the heavy named NPCs do not bleed from the stinger, so make sure that you have a contingency if you're running a bounty to try to get these enemy NPCs. And if you're wondering where can I find named NPCs, bounties are definitely the way to go. They are all over the place. I mean, you can activate the the normal difficulty bounties, you can activate the hard, you can activate the challenging bounties, which will have more than one. Once they have a name, they do count. Just make sure that they are under a status effect before you finally neutralize them. And then the third one says apply 2 status effects to a single enemy before defeating them. That's actually very easy. If you have both the turret and your stinger, you can apply burn and bleed, or if you have maybe shock ammo, which is another way that you can actually go. And then no smoking says complete Manning National Zoo against the outcast on normal or high difficulty. Very easy to do and all that good stuff. Stage 3. Stage 3's first one says eliminate the Bloodhound in Federal Emergency Bunker after applying the bleed status effect to him on normal or higher difficulty. The best way to do this is, and by the way, the Bloodhound is the final boss, the big heavy dude running around with the big old mallets trying to hit you with it. That's who the Bloodhound is. The best thing to do is you want to take his health down, to maybe even a quarter of just health. And then after that, this is after you've peeled off his armor, then you just drop your stinger close to where he is. If he runs away from your stinger, all you have to do is you need to run back into your stinger's AoE so that he can follow you in there and it will take him out. The second one says kill elite enemies while they are inflicted with a status effect. Now, note that you're better off doing this by doing your bounties because you're going to have all kinds of different enemies, and also make sure that you talk to the people that you're doing your bounties with. One of the things that I noticed is everybody that's doing bounties are just usually doing it to farm, but if you're doing this specifically to gain these perks, then make sure that people who are doing it with you kind of understand. I would recommend that you I'll strongly recommend that you take a friend with you, somebody who understands what exactly you're doing. And then Sick Burn says kill enemies while you are burning. I made a video about this yesterday. It's a very simple process. When everyone is in a group, just put your turret on the ground, run into your own personal flames, and as you're burning and your teammates are taking out NPCs, it will fulfill that requirement very easy. Just try to make sure that you don't go, lose all your health and armor and then you're down. I don't know if it'll count at that point. Some people have also given some creative ways, like maybe you're in Federal Emergency Bunker, you stand in the flames and just shoot from there and take out NPCs. That's one way to do it. Some people say shoot the outcast pouch of people that are, that have the big fire Molotov grenade, and that's going to put you on fire. All kinds of crazy ways. But to me, the simplest way is just standing your turret while your team is just shooting bad guys, and by the time they take out 5, you get the requirement. Pistolero, kill named enemies with your sidearm. When you're doing your bounties, wait till the enemy is almost down, use your sidearm to take it down. Then orbital burn says complete space admin HQ against the True Sons on normal or higher difficulty. Very easy to do. Rewards are here. You get the Firewall shirt, the Firewall pants, all that good stuff. Stage 4. The first one says neutralize the Corpulent in the Potomac Event Center after destroying his ammo pack on normal or higher difficulty. The Corpulent is the last named NPC in Potomac Event Center, so you have to wait till the end and destroy his ammo pack. Now, note this, there are actually 2 named bosses. There's the Owl and then there's him. Now, you can use the Owl as someone to do some other named or elite enemy type deal, so you don't just waste him, if you understand what I mean. Like this one says Skill Thrill, which is the third one. I would say just use this as your means to do this, which says, kill named enemies using skills. I think it wants you to kill 5 named enemies, and this one mission you have 2. So what you do is you destroy this, you take out the Owl till his health is actually very low, and then you use a skill to take him out. And then the Corpulent, destroy his ammo pack, which kind of causes this huge explosion. Make sure you destroy that ammo pack first though, because that damages him bit by bit. You don't want that ammo pack to damage everything about him, and then you start that mission over again. Very, very careful about that. And then you can take a skill to take him out. That would then knock out 2 out of 5 in just one swoop. The other one says sword and shield, eliminate enemies with melee attacks using a ballistic shield. Well, you go figure that one out. That's very straightforward. And then complete the DARPA Research Lab mission in the Pentagon on hard or higher difficulty. This mission on hard, if you do it by yourself, is going to challenge you. So I would just say go in with somebody. So maybe you can use the boss as a named enemy to do the skill thing, or going with the heavy shield build, skill build, that's going to eventually take him out. So that's another way to do it. If you want to be silly, you can use your sword and shield to melee named elite enemies, and that's going to complete your skill thrill and your sword and shield, and you're taking out named enemies as well. Okay, Now, the rewards, this is the main reward a lot of people are going for, which is a Savage Wolverine blueprint. Once you complete all of this, it will grant you that, and it will give you a premium reward, which are 2 skins that go with it. And then on to phase 5, which is the one that will make you pull your hair. Now, this is not that bad, but there's one aspect that you really do have to know. This one says some disassembly required. This is where the first one says to destroy the XB-31 Marauder in the Pentagon mission on normal or higher difficulty. The XB-1 Marauder is, I don't know how you say Marauder, is the aerial drone at the end of the mission. So you have to play that Pentagon mission all the way to the end and take out the drone, which is just, in my opinion, quite asinine. I don't know, I just think it was. Then Dragon Hunter says neutralize Mila Wyvern Radek in the Tidal Basin mission after blinding her twice on normal or higher difficulty. Now, let me give you a good tip to actually do this and knock out another requirement that's under this objective, which is you want to do Tidal Basin on invaded. So when it's on the invaded mode, that's where you want to do it, because that will help you knock out the final one, which says complete any invaded stronghold mission on hard or higher difficulty. So when you go Wyvern, you want to use things like your flashbang or even your Firefly blinder mod in order to be able to blind her. My buddy Mark helped me out with that, and we blinded her like I think we probably blinded her 9 times so that we could be sure that we blinded her, because you're supposed to do it twice before you then take her out. So we blinded her with flashbang, blinded her with the Firefly, blinded her again, and blinded her again, and then finally took her out. And then we got that, I got that requirement fulfilled. Now, conflagration, or whatever you call it, competition, says eliminate elite Scorcher enemies, and this actually wants you to eliminate 10 of these in the elite mode, which is absolutely crazy in my opinion. Now, where can you find 10 elite Scorcher enemies? Good question. You can maybe bank on the randomness of the open world bosses. I wouldn't do that if I were you. I would say, first of all, you want to start out with bounties. If you have enough outcast bounties, or you have friends who have those outcast bounties, what you guys can do is one person activates the bounty, and then you guys run it. You take out these the elite Scorchers that are actually there, or the elite name bosses, or you just go straight for bounties that have outcasts and, cross your fingers hoping that you'll find some, elite Scorchers among them. Now, in this particular mission over here with the Rune and the Geist, I think I was able to get the Rune, and then there was another elite Scorcher just randomly there, and it counted for 2 for me. And so that's how I got my first one. So you can get that mission done twice, and they may get you 4 of these Scorchers. The next one is, once you've done all these bounties and you can't find anybody else that has the outcast bounties, or you can't find any more Scorchers, the next thing that I would recommend that you do is that you use Roosevelt Island to complete this requirement. Now, the reason I say this is because in stage 2, when you had to take out the enemy Scorcher, the Wildfire, she is a named elite Scorcher. So what you do, and what I did, is I literally, and you do it while they're bleeding, by the way, I literally went and played Roosevelt 8 more times and took her out every single time with my Stinger. So I took her health down to 1/4, made sure I didn't pop that tank right when she didn't have any health. If you're gonna, shoot the tank, you either want to shoot that tank first, or you don't shoot it at all after taking down her armor, and then you drop your Stinger. Even at full health, the Stinger should take her out, if you understand what I mean. So you do all of this, and then you go ahead and do your named enemies while they're bleeding, all that good stuff. That's how you do it. Now there's another requirement that says to kill burning enemies. That just means salute a burning enemy before killing them. I think you need to do about 3 or 4 or so. On PC, it's a little easy because we use key binding in terms of how we do our emotes. I could just bind a key. I already bound a key for my salute to do that. That's just one key, and it went ahead, and whenever an enemy was just burning, I hit that key, my agent salutes, and then I take them down. So this is how you do your stage 1 through 5 of your Firewall field research, and you're able to get the final premium reward, which is a skin, a mundane mod, which is, in my opinion, it's just okay. I mean, I think it's nice. It's the first one I've ever gotten. I'll probably start working my way to do the others bit by bit by activating them. The technician, I think I started the technician on another character and I abandoned it there. But that's how you do it. That's how you get your firewall field research 100% complete. So I'm going to get out of here. Thank you very much for your time and audience. Thank you for watching the videos. You guys are so amazing. Thank you for 20,000 subscribers. Subscribe, join the Gaming Daddy community. Okay. Peace.